So first and foremost, I want to apologize for not posting in a while. I've actually been on vacation, spent most of that time working remote and hanging out with friends, but I'm here now, back on schedule. And secondly, I want to say I actually am using my work computer to record because the camera's nicer and I think the mic is nicer too. So I'm excited to have a clear video and have you guys see me better. And since this is my first video of the month, I want to say that this is actually Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I think that's a good thing to talk about. I've talked about it in an earlier video, but I want to touch up on it again just because it's June, and I want to say specifically for men, you really gotta check up on your friends, and even if you're a woman, you can check up on your male friends as well, maybe your father, grandfather, stuff like that. Because I don't think people realize how much struggles men have, and they won't tell anyone about it. There's a lot of things that I struggled with for a really long time, and I didn't tell anyone for a long time. And there were times that hiding it was actually hurting me more than it was doing good for me. Now, I'm not gonna get into details. It's a very personal story to me, but a lot of people had no idea the things that I was going through until I told them. And the saddest part is when I told these people, I'd never seen them cry once, ever. And I think three people that I had told this, they were like bawling tears, and I didn't know how fucked up. I had no idea how fucked up my story was. And even when I went to a professional for this, as I was explaining my story, I saw a tear in her eye, and I was just like shocked because out of all the stories that she's probably heard, that one made her feel so bad that she actually had a tear in her eye of all the fucked shit she's heard of. And I think a lot of people probably have not like exactly similar stories, but they probably, and men especially, they're probably going through things that they don't perceive to be as bad as they are, because as men we're kind of told to just keep pushing, keep making money, and keep making other people happy. And oftentimes that gets to a point where you can't really deal with it anymore. Especially nowadays where I feel like we're so glued to our phones and stuff, we don't even have these conversations at all. Most of the time we're talking about sports, we're talking about like, recent news on technology, stuff like that we don't even consider like what the people close to us are going through. For example, my best friend, my absolute best friend, right now, a couple years ago, he was actually diagnosed with cancer, and he was in chemotherapy for a long time, and I had no idea. I had no clue that he is in cancer because I thought he had just went back to his family overseas. I had no idea what he was going through at all. And if he were to die, I would feel so bad because I would have never even known. He could have passed away on that bed, and I never would have like, told him I loved him and stuff like that. And so I think as men we really have to make sure that doesn't happen. And that was a very eye-opening experience for me because I see all the things me and my friend have done now, and I see how much he means to me and how much I mean to him, and I think about the fact that none of it's possible that none of that could have happened. Sorry, this is a really really tough one. Um, and so after that moment, you know, I take no shame in being supportive. I take no shame in doing things that other men may see as like weak or whatever, because oftentimes we take our male friends for granted. And oftentimes, our male friends would rather keep their struggles to themselves than to put them on other people and make them other people's responsibility. And I'm guilty of this as well for a lot of the time. You know, I try to keep things to myself because I thought it's my problem alone. No one else has to go through the shit that I'm going through. You know, they got their own stuff, I got mine. And so I'm just going to work on my own and they can do theirs. And I've come to realize that sometimes that doesn't work. Um, when I was in middle school, I heavily contemplated taking my own life. And I know a lot of people that have contemplated taking their own life too, and maybe even attempted. And the saddest part is, I had no idea. And if I did know, I would have done everything in my power to stop that from happening. And I think a lot of men would think the same thing of their own friends. If they had known that their own friend was contemplating taking their own life, I think everyone else would do everything in their power to stop that from happening. And so, if you're in that position where you feel like taking your own life, I'm telling you right now, so many more people care about you than you think. In your own family, maybe your friends, teammates, classmates, even a stranger. So many people are there to help you if you need it, and you really should not be ashamed to tell people of these things. Now, if you really feel like you don't have anyone, you can always call 988. That's the suicide hotline. And I hit a point where I had to call them, and they stayed on the phone until I was ready to hang up. And they said, we're gonna check up on you tomorrow, the day after, just to make sure you're not feeling like taking your own life again. And so there's so many resources for you if you're feeling those thoughts. So many. And I think even in that, it sometimes feels shameful to do so because of the way society is built for men. That kind of outreach is seen as weak in the eyes of other men. And I think that's the problem. And that's something that we can fix for ourselves, is not shaming someone for, being too emotional, not shaming someone for being too sensitive or whatever, but realizing that they can feel how they want to feel. And oftentimes you may call someone too sensitive and, just being over dramatic, overthinking until they take their own life. And so, if you have friends that, you can tell they're either acting really, really, really happy out of nowhere, or they're just really, really down, really reserved, really quiet in group settings, just don't really seem very happy. I think it's very important to just check on them and make sure everything's all right, because realistically, you have no idea what's going on behind how they appear. Now, I'm very thankful that I have friends that do that for me and family members that do that for me. And so, in that, I do that for others as well. And I think as men, we really have to take that step up and just make sure that we don't have that feeling of regret if one of our friends takes their own lives. Really tough topic, but I think it's very important to, you know, bring awareness to this and share the story. I have a lot of other content for specific problems. If you have a different problem that may be leading you to think suicidally, but I would highly recommend professional help, 988 hotline, or talking to someone you trust more. Uh, you can reach out to me if you have a problem, but if you need to. Otherwise, tons of resources. I hope this helps you guys, and I hope this brings more awareness to men's mental health.